the blog Random Sweets, I'm Stacy Mergenthal, and this is Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens, a show for people who embrace the warm and cozy spirit of everyday living in the northern Midwest. My husband Jason joins me on this episode as we share a few of our favorite experiences in the Phoenix and Tempe Arizona area this past January. From the strawberry cocktail on our hotel rooftop bar and the biggest breakfast burrito I've ever seen, to memorable Mexican food in Scottsdale, to the buffalo wings Jason has been talking about for years, and the burgers at a place he assumed was long ago swallowed up by redevelopment around the ASU campus. We'll talk about it all. Even the place with amazing Philly cheesesteak sandwiches and shuffleboard. And this isn't your Love Boat shuffleboard. And stick around for the last 5 minutes or so because we share the 9 new-to-us products we discovered when we went to 2 Trader Joe's in one day for hotel snacks. My new favorite everyday wine is included on this list. I know, this is a Midwestern podcast, but we know how much we all love to flock south in the winter when we can. So let's go hang out with the snowbirds for just a few days.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Jason's here today. We're just going to share a little bit about our trip to Arizona.
It was fun. Jammed a lot in a few days and had an awesome time. Like people travel all the time, especially being former hockey parents. No matter what the weather was, you travel for hockey. And so when an opportunity came up to go down to Arizona to see my alma mater, Sun Devils, and their, I guess the hockey team's been around for a while, but they got a brand new arena. And a team that we follow here locally, the Minnesota State Mavericks, were going to be in Arizona. So got some family to join us down there. My sister and her husband and my niece, and as well as my brother, flew in to take in a Sun Devils game against the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. At Mullet Arena, which is the new arena.
Brand new arena. $134 million multi-purpose complex that also the Phoenix Coyotes, the pro team, also plays their games right now there until they get a new arena built.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so we were able to watch 2 games, Friday, Saturday night, from the suite that the Mavericks had gotten. Mm-hmm. Because your family are season ticket holders and very big supporters of the Mavericks.
Yep.
The last time you were on this podcast, we talked about our trip to Bemidji, which we also went there to watch ASU play in Bemidji, Minnesota. That was in episode 5 that we talked about that trip. So we just thought we would share a little bit about Arizona because so many people from where we're at do go south for the whole winter, or until you're old enough to retire and go there for the winter. A lot of people will go for a week or 2.
Sure. Well, I guess I'd like to say, we're hockey birds. We'll travel to see hockey. It's important, too, because when we went to Arizona, is that there were a lot of people from Mankato who went there. And not just in the suite and stuff like that, but in the general seating area and stuff, there was a lot of purple and yellow. And it's important, especially for college, to get people to travel to, those games and stuff. And that was one thing I was kind of disappointed with when we went to Bemidji. Even though it was an early season game, I understand that, but there wasn't a lot of Bemidji fans there, and there wasn't hardly any Arizona State fans there. I mean, there was a few sprinkled about, but Bemidji State, they're a really good program and generally have a competitive team every year. And for our first time up there, I was surprised that the building wasn't overflowing with fans. The one thing about Minnesota State fans is that they travel. Mm-hmm. And so it was nice to see a sellout for both Friday and Saturday. Well, for the most part, it was pretty much a sellout.
In Arizona at the Mullet Arena, right?
Yep.
And I would suspect that I know a lot of those people did travel from Minnesota or close, but I bet there are quite a few that winter in Arizona that are alum that just live there in the winter that came out too.
Oh yeah,
there were a lot.
I mean, there are a lot of young people there too that aren't necessarily retired.
Sure. Are you saying young like us?
Yes, in their 30s.
Oh, we wish. So we just thought, hey, we could share a little podcast episode. We could do one, even though we're in the Midwest. We're talking about Arizona, but that's because a lot of people here, like Jason said, are snowbirds. We'll call ourselves hockey birds. And they'll go there at some point during the winter just to get away from all the snow and everything. And so we thought, hey, we had a couple places where we enjoyed some good drinks and food and coffee. So we'll just share a couple.
Some good sights.
Mm-hmm. We flew Allegiant, and we flew.
That was our first time.
Yeah, we flew out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, on Allegiant, and we were really very pleased. I was.
Yeah, it was convenient to fly right out of Sioux Falls, which is close to where we live, and fly right into the Phoenix area, into Mesa.
And that was a nice little airport there too, not the big huge one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had no idea we were going to unload on a walkway outdoors.
Welcome to the nice weather. It was welcome.
Yeah, and all the old people that were sitting in front with us are like, yeah, it's pretty steep. We're waiting for wheelchairs.
Yeah, so we felt really young because we got to just walk off the plane. So we flew into that nice little airport in
Mesa.
And then we just went, checked into our hotel and everything, which we stayed right on campus, essentially. I mean, it's not a campus hotel, but it's...
Right, but it's on university property, and which I went, when I went to school there back in the early 90s, ASU was already growing substantially, but there were so many changes in the 25, 30 years I've been gone that ASU decided that we can help the university out by partnering with a lot of corporate businesses, and they built headquarters and hotels and all these things on the university property to provide revenue for the school so they can invest in their science and other programs that the university offers.
And this was my first time to Arizona in general, and so my first time to the campus. And so I don't remember what it looked like before, but you've shown me some pictures, and it's grown a lot. But we stayed at the Hyatt House, which was directly across from the
Mullet Arena. Right.
The football
stadium, the arena. It was a very centralized place that was close to a lot of the activities and things we were going to be involved in.
Mm-hmm. And it was easy to walk those places. I mean, you couldn't park any closer, really.
Right.
And so if you're going there for anything like that or staying on campus, that was a good place to stay, was the Hyatt House. And then, so we checked in, and we're like, well, let's go walk and find something to eat for supper. And I said, yes, there's this Cornish pasty company place that my stepmom Margaret told me about from some friends of hers in her knitting group. And they said, well, we could try that. And you were pretty hesitant, and we did come across it, but...
I know, but you said that, they have other locations.
Mm-hmm.
And when we kind of walked by this location, I was like, it looks kind of grungy,
Which I didn't necessarily agree with, so we had a little...
Tiff.
Well, I had an attitude then. I'm like, any other place we would walk by, you're like, well, how about this place? And I'm like, no, it looks grungy.
It looks too dirty. Oh, the people look weird. I'm not going to that place.
And then we'd walk by somewhere else. You'd say, well, should we try this? I'm like, no. So we walked for a while with me having an attitude about where we were going to eat because you didn't like my suggestion.
All right. And so then as we're walking, I'm looking at different restaurants, and this hangout that I used to hang out at and eat at back in college appeared. And I thought the place had long been destroyed for all these improvements that the campus was making, like all these big new hotels. And here, this business was still sitting amongst all these huge hotel properties. And this place is, straight out of the 70s and is grungy.
It's called the Chuck Box.
Yeah.
And I will share pictures with the blog post that goes with this so that people can see. Although I don't know that I don't think I took any pictures on the inside. And then we ate outside, so I don't think I can even share inside. But I do have a picture even of the...
It's It's nothing to write home about. But what's spectacular about the place is, and I've been talking about this for years, is
Yes.
I want an indoor fire pit to grill over. And that's what this place is. They, have a wood-fired grill with an adjustable rack that they just keep throwing hamburgers and chicken on, and the flames shoot up. And
Well, you walk inside and you stand there and you order, and then you just stand there and watch them grill your burger.
Yep.
And
grill.
then they hand it to
real grilled.
Right. But I think it says charcoal broiled.
Charbroiled?
Charcoal broiled is what I thought it said. But maybe it was wood. I don't remember.
Charcoal still comes from wood.
Okay.
Okay.
So you get to watch them, and then there's a huge, it looks like a salad bar, but it's all the toppings that you can put on a burger. And, well, they had French fries, right?
Yep.
And I think onion rings. We didn't order onion rings. We got French fries, but
right.
I had
very
to admit,
basic.
I didn't want to, but I had to admit that it was good.
It was really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I even offered at one point during the rest of that week, because that was our first night, that we could go back there and eat again.
Yeah.
You thought I was kidding, but I was serious.
Right. And they cooked the burger well enough for you so that it wasn't pink inside.
Right. Yeah. I'm a well done burger kind of gal. I don't want any pink in there. And we sat outside, and
mine was sloppy, juicy. It was good.
Yeah, so we would recommend going to the Chuck Box, which, it does. It looks odd sitting there among everything new and stuff, but it's really cool that it's hung on and that it's still there. And you actually had even mentioned it not that long before we went, and I think it was just like, I'm sure it's long gone. Way it's still there, and it was.
I was, elated, super happy that it was still there, because it was something from college that I remember, and everything's changed so much. Here's one place that didn't.
One thing, Yep. And so then Wednesday morning, we went to a place that I had picked out called the Daily Jam. We were heading to my aunt and uncle, Norio, Maryland's, and I knew she was making brunch, and she is an amazing cook. So we knew that we would have really good food, but this was kind of earlier in the morning. And so we went there to get coffee and then just split a little breakfast sandwich between the two of us. And
right.
I mean, it was good, but the place was a shit show. The barista, that guy that was making my coffee, what did he tell you?
Well, he's like, yeah, I'm quitting tomorrow.
The poor guy, and anyway, so we did go to the Daily Jam. It was a cool spot, really neat vibe, a lot of seating outside. We were there in the morning, and there were people there, and we drove by the place a few times during our stay, and they were always busy. So I wouldn't say don't go there, because it was good. I'm sure they'll get stuff figured out.
You said they had good ratings and stuff, and maybe we were just there on a bad day.
Right. But they were trying, and the food was good. So then we went to Norio, Maryland's, my aunt and uncle. And like I said, Marilyn, she's an amazing host and cook. And she made, first of all, I was shocked about all the pails of oranges that they had.
Oh, right.
Out in their little garage, because I just didn't realize how many fresh, lemons, oranges, grapefruits just grow on tons of trees all over the place down there.
Oh, so they go and pick them? They're not like theirs?
Those were their oranges from just, 2 trees in their backyard.
Okay.
And they were pails full.
Yeah.
That Norio was then him and his friend that live out there were going to get to those and make fresh squeezed orange juice.
Sure.
And then, but she also served grapefruits, which she got from the neighbors. And so we had fresh grapefruit that were picked recently. And she made a frittata, and there was zucchini in it. And I was like, ooh, thinking to myself, I don't really eat zucchini, but it was amazing. It was so good. And then she had biscuits and sausage gravy, which was wonderful. And the biscuits were just the right, crispy on top and crispy on the bottom. They were wonderful.
Well, didn't we have some ham?
And the ham. Right away, I'm like, what kind of ham is this? Where did you get it? And did she say Fry's? Is that
Fry's
a grocery
is a
store?
local grocery chain down there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was the cut or what, but I mean, it was just plain old ham that was the texture and everything that I love. So yeah, we got to see them, and then my cousin Danny was there, and then my cousin Eugene, his wife Danielle, they were there too. So it was fun to hang out with them, and they
absolutely
took us for a little cruise around the complex and showed us where the pool is for the old people and the little pet yard where people, if you have pets there, you can only go there with your pet.
Well,
I would not live there.
I got to sit down with Noriel and, hang out in the living room, and we just talked, stuff normally talk about, how crazy expensive things have gotten, where's the future going, different things like that is really fun.
Really deep conversation, and I was in the kitchen drinking mimosas with the girls. So that was fun. And so we did that, and then I don't remember what that peak is that you said, let's go check this out.
It used to be called Squaw. It used to be called Squaw Peak, and they changed the name of it to Pistawa Park. And it is a hiking area. It's very scenic. It overlooks the Phoenix Valley. Lots of cactus and trails and different things. And it's really cool.
There were tons of parking, so you drove in and you could park there, or you could keep driving and then park there, or keep driving and park there. And there were people all over the place. I had worn flip-flops that day, wasn't planning on hiking, so we didn't go do any hiking, but I would definitely go back, and other than I'm worried, I would take a hike.
Well, see, in the wintertime, it's fairly safe. You wouldn't have to worry about like snakes and Gila monsters or something like that. In the summertime when things get hot, and it's more like in the afternoon. The snakes kind of come out of their little burrows and stuff because, it's happened to me in the past, where I've been walking somewhere and the sun's going down and all of a sudden, and you're like, whoa, I got to run, the snake, So.
Yeah. I'm not used to that kind of thing because I'm from the Midwest and never lived somewhere where I had to think about or worry about snakes. And but that place was super neat, and it was free to drive in. You didn't have to pay to get in and for parking or anything. And I would highly suggest that as an outdoor activity. When it's 107 degrees out, maybe I wouldn't do it. But the time of year we were there, it was beautiful.
Well, there are, that place has big, well-used, I think there's even almost a paved trail that goes up to the top of that peak. And, I've been up there a few times, and it's pretty nice. And another place that we drove by was Camelback Mountain, which is a little more of a rugged trail to get up to the top there. But I've been up on that one several times too, and that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then we went to pick up... Oh, wait. We drove by Hole in the Rock?
Oh, in Papago Park.
Okay, and that's right by the zoo. The zoo was right in there.
Well, we didn't do that. That was a different day.
Oh, that was something different.
Yeah. After we went to Pistawa Park, we went to pick up my brother Ryan from the airport.
Oh, that's right. But we drove through Scottsdale and stopped at a Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we just stop there and buy a couple snacks? Because where we were staying had a kitchen and everything. And so, we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah, we're like, oh, I haven't seen this before. Grab that. Oh, I haven't seen this before. Right. Grab that.
And Jason, you don't normally go to Trader Joe's. Like, I'm usually the one going to Trader Joe's and picking up stuff. So you don't get to see all the products they have. And
I don't follow their newsletter.
I do. It's called the Fearless Flyer. Huh. And we don't even have a Trader Joe's where we live. It's 3.5 hours to the cities to get to a Trader Joe's.
Right.
But we can talk about a few things here at the end that we both found that we liked. One of them is wine. Then after we got Ryan, of course, we hadn't had lunch. We were at Norio, Maryland's that day, so we had lunch, but we were all hungry and ready to eat. And Raising Cane's, of course, is a chain, but we don't have one where we're at. So when we do go somewhere, and if they have a Raising Cane's, we do like to try to eat there at least once.
Yep. And
so that's what we did, is we went to Raising Cane's, which was in the parking lot of another Trader Joe's.
Which we had to go to.
And we went to that one and got even more stuff. And then Ryan, he got snacks too in his room. So that was on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we just had breakfast at the hotel. And then lunchtime was with your friends. So you have college friends out there.
Oh, funny story. So there used to be a Vine in Tempe right off of campus. And they closed just last year. And
the Vine. And it's a tavern, a bar.
Yeah, the Vine Tavern and Eatery, it's called. And we've always gone there for their wings. And they make terrific wings. And so I never been there when they moved, but my friends from there said, oh, they got a new location. So I'm like, okay, so I type in the Vine into Google, and it takes us out to Mesa. And I'm thinking, okay, the new Vine must be out in Mesa, because my friends live out in, the Chandler-Gilbert area of Phoenix, which is on the southeast side, and that's kind of out where Mesa is. So I just assumed this is where the new Vine is. We were so wrong.
We were very wrong.
And in conjunction with that is my sister and her family. They're going to take an Uber to the Vine.
They're going to join us, so they're taking an Uber.
Right. And so they get dropped off at this business that's no longer in business.
It used to be the Vine.
And they're standing there going, dude, this business is closed. So I'm like, oh no, they moved, but I can't find it either.
And we couldn't even tell them how to get there because we weren't there either.
Right. And so we drove 20 minutes in the wrong direction to this place, someplace called the Vine, but it wasn't the Vine Tavern and Eatery. Anyway, we found the place, and we met up pretty close to about the same time, which was great because, it was worth it because the wings were fabulous. And my sister Mankato, she'll attest to that because there is a place there.
Is it Tav on the Ave?
Tav on the Ave. Yep, exactly. And they make their wings almost identical to the Vine. And so I really appreciated that.
So when we did finally find it, it was on East Ray Road. Mm-hmm. And so I'll link to that in the show notes so that if people are looking for amazing wings out there, that they go to the Vine Tavern and Eatery, but they go to the correct location.
Phoenix location on Ray Road.
Because like you said, that Uber driver that dropped Lindsay and Jesse and Sid off, she had to know that place wasn't even open.
Should have known.
She dropped them off and off she went.
Yeah. It's like, see ya.
So we were there, and then we were talking about going to play. You guys, is there a place around here that they have shuffleboard?
Well, right. And I'm thinking shuffleboard. I wasn't thinking of like the little pucks and the big long wooden table. I'm thinking they're talking like shuffleboard, like old people.
Like the Love Boat.
Yeah.
When they would play shuffleboard. That's what I was thinking too, because I had never even heard of this other one that has the little puck and you're just doing it by hand. But there was some guy sitting at the bar that's like, yeah, go to Philly's. They have one at the whatever location. We're like, really?
Uh-huh. And we did. We went to this Philly's, which wasn't too far away, a couple miles down the road. And, the guy was like, I'm part of a league. I set everything up there. I don't know. He was an expert at the shuffleboard.
Right. And he was helpful in getting us there. So we did that. They only have one shuffleboard there, but it was really fun. And if there are places around here where we live that have that, I would go there and do that, play that. But that was Philly's Sports Grill on Warner Road.
I know. And so that was what we did our Thursday afternoon, was drink a lot of beer, play shuffleboard, and had a really awesome cheesesteak there.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's called Philly's. Because of their Philly's cheese. But they have a few locations, but...
Oh, they weren't from Philadelphia?
This specific one, no. This specific one is the only one that has the shuffleboard. So you have to go to the one on Warner Road. And yes, the cheesesteak was really good.
Well, yeah. I mean, and they make it with Cheese Whiz, which is, a traditional Philadelphia cheesesteak is... chip steak, cheese whiz, ketchup, onions, peppers, mushrooms. I don't know. They can throw the whole gambit at it, and I just like mine with cheese whiz, maybe some ketchup.
And you had ketchup on it too. I had a few drinks, but it tasted really good. I'm so glad that you shared yours with us because it was really good. And I had buffalo chicken dip, and it was good, but, just pretty basic. Whereas the Phillies, I can see why they're known for their Phillies and called Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to a place called Phillies, you should have a Phillies cheesesteak.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, and then that night we just stayed at our hotel and had drinks up on the rooftop bar. So at the Hyatt house where we stayed, they have a really cool rooftop bar, as a lot of places there do. But there is a rooftop bar, fun seating. There's also a small but nice rooftop pool up there. So we just had some drinks there, and what I had was what they call there a pink lemonade. I need to make these at home. So it was lemonade, vodka, a simple syrup, and then just a strawberry puree. So just they pureed strawberries, and that kind of sauce went into this lemonade with vodka. I had a couple of those.
That was a really good bartender that night. And I don't know. I just had gin and tonics, and they were pretty smooth.
They were pouring heavy that day.
I could still find the elevator.
Well, luckily, all we had to do was take an elevator back to our room, so that was good. Well, then the next morning is when we ate at the Snooze AM.
Oh my gosh!
An AM eatery, and they have a few locations out there, but we ate at the one on near campus, so it's on South College Avenue, and we met. Your brother came with us, and then Sid, Jesse, Lindsay. Jesse's been at one of the other locations you said before, and he liked it, so he was excited to come and eat there. My cousin Danny is the one that told us or me about it, so that's how I knew it was.
And it's an AM eatery. They open up at like 6 and they shut down at 2. And I, was like, we got to get up early and go before it gets busy. Because when you're on the list, I mean, you could be waiting an hour, hour and a half, especially on Saturdays.
Right. This was Friday morning.
Right.
So, I mean, and it was already busy on a Friday. We tried was it Saturday morning or Sunday morning?
Well, we looked again because we wanted to go on Saturday, so it was so close, but...
It's like an hour and a half wait or something?
I was, and it was already 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, no. But what did you have to eat there?
I had their breakfast burrito with no black beans in it. I like black beans, but I don't necessarily like them mixed with eggs. So I had their burrito, and it was the size of the plate. I couldn't even eat half of it, I don't think. It was super tasty.
It was pretty big.
Yep.
It reminded me of like a Filberto's burrito, which was someplace I never got to eat when I was down there. But in college, there was this place we always went to, and it was just kind of a walk-up window, drive-through burrito stand. And they made the biggest carne asadas you could, I don't know, for $2.50. And you couldn't eat 2 of them because they were huge. And
is there still Filberto's down there?
There's a lot of places and a lot of places like that, but
Not the same.
It certainly wouldn't cost you. You wouldn't get a burrito like that for $2.50.
Well, no, but the whole point is it good?
Yeah.
So what did you order then? Because you said it was like one of the most.
It was one of the best breakfasts I've ever had, and is a Monte Cristo, and I'm sure other people have Monte Cristos. They're like, okay, great. It's like, French toast and ham, and it had the Havarti cheese on it, and then a little Dijon mustard. But it came with this spicy red jam sauce, and you combine the two with the spiciness of the jam and the sweet with the tartness of the Dijon mustard, and it was incredible. I'm like, oh, honey, you better learn how to make these because I want these every Saturday morning.
And I have not done that yet, but it was a house-made raspberry pepper jam. So I'll have to learn how at least to make that jam. And then the brioche bread is what they put it on. It looked wonderful. I don't think I had a bite of it just because I knew how much you were loving it over there, and I didn't want to take any away. You maybe didn't even offer me to take
I probably didn't. I was probably, I had my arms around the plate and, with the fork stabbing people's hands if they were reaching for it.
Yeah, so I would definitely go back there again, and we tried, but they're just super busy. And Service was good, and I had a honey vanilla latte there, and that was really good. So just everything and everybody enjoyed what they were eating at our table.
Speaking of your honey vanilla lattes, I got you a honey vanilla latte from Romancing the Bean. Mm-hmm. Was that the day before? Was that on Thursday? I think that was Thursday morning.
I don't remember for sure. Yeah, I think it was Thursday morning because
I tried to take you back there on Saturday, but they were closed. But you said that was one of the best honey vanilla lattes, and that was a cool place. I wish you'd gotten to see it.
Yeah, it was Thursday morning. It was called Romancing the Bean. Yep, and they're only open Monday through Friday because they're in sort of a industrial or
corporate area,
like on the bottom of one of the big buildings. So they're probably just catering to those people during their work week. So after we ate at Snooze, we walked, which we really needed to do because we had big breakfast. So we walked around the campus. You showed us around. We went into the Hayden Library.
Oh, yeah, which was funny because I was like, well, let's take pictures of everything that we see Hayden so we could send it to our daughter's boyfriend, whose name is Hayden. And that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, because at first we had just seen a couple things, and then we realized that everything out there is named Hayden because of the old, was it a flour mill? That was the Hayden Flour Mill or something? Right,
there's like the Hayden Ferry Bridge and the Hayden Library and the Hayden Mill, and there's Hayden streets everywhere.
So we're like, okay, we're not going to do that. We'll be here forever taking pictures. Yeah, and then you and Ryan went to tour the Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, during our tour of campus, we met a former policeman and Van. Yeah, with the University Police Department, who is now an ambassador, and just kind of, talks to people walking around, and asks them if they need help or anything like that. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you went to school here," and it's like, "Oh, I could probably find you in the university logs." And you and Ryan just started laughing, and I'm
because
just like,
we know he could. We wanted to tell your stories.
Yeah, probably.
You're like, no.
Yeah. Anyway,
you're
really
famous
cool.
On that campus within the police department. There,
like
probably
famous.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, he took us around, showed us all the different snakes and stuff in the Life Sciences building, and then took us up to the top of another building to, see a view of like downtown Phoenix and stuff like that.
And then he's the one that told you that they were doing tours at the Sun Devil Stadium and the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So you and Ryan went over there and did that. I didn't do that.
Yeah, which was amazing too, because we got to walk the field, and we got to see how they prep the field and paint everything. Which then we were talking about the guy who just retired, who is famous for all those things. He pretty much invented the artwork and everything that they do on the field, and the logos and the techniques for spray painting the numbers and stuff on the turf. And yeah, it's pretty neat. But we also got to walk the field. We went on the other side, and we got our picture taken with the Pat Tillman statue. And for those who aren't Sun Devil fans or know anything about Pat Tillman, he was a former player from the Sun Devil football team, and he went on to be a professional in the Cardinals. And then during George Bush, we had the Iraq and Afghan wars, and he gave up his professional career to become a soldier. And he actually died serving a country, and that's a long story too, but he's well remembered at ASU and number 42, and they got a big bronze statue of him out there, and my brother and I got our pictures taken with it, which was incredible. And just never forget 42.
I'm glad you guys went over there.
Yeah.
And then it was time to eat again.
All right.
Well, we had hockey to go to, and so we needed to eat before we went over to the hockey game, and you had spotted right next to the AM eatery, Snooze, when we were there in the morning, you checked out what was right next door to it, which was Pastino. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I would call it Pastino, and it's a charcuterie place. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, we've never eaten at one of those, and so I'm always up for trying new things when we're on vacation, but and not really up for trying new things when I'm at home. I like...
Right.
However...
Yep, we had the chef's charcuterie, and then we also ordered and split the Tuscan tuna panini, and both of them are really good, but the charcuterie had a few things on it that we're not really fond of in general, so a few of the things, but...
We didn't really like the whipped goat cheese. I thought that was okay.
No, it was whipped feta.
A whipped feta.
I think it was a whipped feta, and we just were like, okay, now we know we don't really like that.
Well, I was okay with it. I didn't really like the almond hummus that you liked.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to make almond hummus. I mean, I'm assuming you use still some tahini, which is the sesame seed paste, and then you must use like ground almonds as well. But I want to find a recipe. If anybody has one, they can share it with me. But it was an almond hummus. That was good.
And what I was like, how come they put olives on there that still have the pits in it? Mm-hmm. You know?
There's a lot of places that do that with the charcuterie. They're not, I mean...
It's like a thing.
Around here,
I don't find it, I don't know. It could be better.
Yeah, I don't like it, but around here we're used to the Midwest relish tray, right? Like supper clubs in Wisconsin. And
that's probably it. It's like put some carrot sticks on there and some celery and bring out some herring with everything.
Pickled herring. They still do that at the Knotty Pine over there by Elkton, just a few miles from us. But yeah, so we had plenty there to eat, and it was really good. And then we went to the Devil's Advocate bar.
That was our pre-party before our hockey game again.
So we went to the Devil's Advocate. Is that when we met your friends there? They came with their wives, so that was nice to meet them. And it used to be called Maloney's, you said? Yeah,
it used to be this huge bar back in the 90s, and it was extremely popular. They had a location up in Scottsdale, too, and that's kind of where all the celebrities would go and hang out, and it was just a big deal. And it used to be a really cool place. It seems really kind of run down now, and it could have been so much better.
I don't know. The place was packed. We went back the next night, and the place was packed again. So people must still like it.
Well,
we didn't eat there.
I was just saying, from the way I remember it, it was, polished mahogany and really shiny, and the brass was all shiny, and you actually had a DJ playing music, and back when MTV was still MTV, they played music videos in conjunction with the DJ playing music, and it was really cool.
Okay.
It's a really good time to be in college in Tempe.
Well, then we went to the hockey game. The Mavs won. The Mavericks won.
Again.
And then...
But, ASU, they were competitive. It's not like the Mavericks just ran away with everything. But, ASU, they had some big games where they, beat the Gophers once this year. And the Sun Devils were still a very strong team. But the Mavericks needed the win because they were still trying to climb out of the basement. And it actually propelled them into the rankings so they could make the Frozen Four this spring, or Frozen 16 or whatever.
When the game was done, then I went back to the hotel, but you and pretty much everybody else went to the 640.
Oh, yeah.
Partied there. They have the bags. Back here, what do we call it? Cornhole?
Well, bags. I think we just call it bags, too. But I think a lot of people, maybe in Ohio, some people like that call it cornhole.
Okay. But so they had bags and beer pong and really fun.
Oh, bar games. Yeah.
Bar games.
Beer pong, giant Jenga, the bags, different things like that. And you sat out and you thought you were outside. It was covered, and they had a turf feel, and they had some heaters and stuff going out there, so it was nice and warm and cozy, and it was a great feel. It's like, this is exactly what I want my backyard to look like.
All right, so the next morning was Saturday morning. So far we've only gone to one hockey game. And Saturday morning we went to the Cartel Roasting Company on Ash Avenue.
Right.
Yep, they roast their own beans in there, so you could kind of see. I mean, they weren't roasting when we were there, but you could see their whole setup. It's all open to see.
Big burlap bags of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Had a ginger cookie. We split a little ginger cookie. That was really good. The latte was really good.
Yeah.
Your coffee.
And it was close to campus, and it had a really cool vibe. Like young hipsters. Like, so it was a little industrial feel. Probably had a fern in the corner or something like that, and we're playing like some reggae or something.
Right. Who knows? So then we were ready to eat lunch, because by this point we kind of slept in that morning. You were out pretty late the night before.
Oh yeah, I had a good time Friday.
Yeah, we didn't get going
good time.
Too early, and so it was already lunchtime at this point, and we hadn't had Mexican food yet, and we love good Mexican food. So you did some searching online and found a place in Scottsdale to try?
Oh, yeah. And it's like, okay, I didn't want to go to some cookie-cutter Mexican restaurant. This place, just from the pictures I saw, kind of had a little bit of a unique feel to it. It had indoor and outdoor, and it really wasn't a huge place. But I had seen some good reviews on it and said, okay, this isn't too far away. Let's go try it.
Los Sombreros? Is that what it was? Am I saying that right?
I'm assuming that is. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, was it lots of hats? The hats? That's what a sombrero is.
Oh, yeah. Well, their logo I'm looking at it right now, and their logo is a big sombrero. Okay.
The sombreros, the hats.
Right.
So.
But that meal was tremendous. Like, we will always remember that meal, I think.
Oh.
And we will go back there if we go back to Arizona.
Yeah. We sat out in the back patio, and there were trees out there that kind of, give you shade and everything like that. And they had some outdoor fire pits and outdoor heaters. And
we started off with chips and salsa. That was super
amazing.
tasty.
Yeah.
And so we were like, man, if our meal's going to be as good as the chips and salsa, we're in good shape. Mm-hmm.
And I ordered a steak taco or something like that.
Yeah, some ribeye steak tacos, and I had the smoked chicken enchilada. That was all really good, but we also ordered the elote. Oh,
that was your idea, and I was like, oh, wow, good choice.
Well, around here, that's not a popular menu item for sure, but Trader Joe's sells an elote seasoning, and then I think in my mind I thought it was going to come corn on the cob style with the cheese and all of that on it, but it was actually a bowl full of corn off the cob.
Right, that had been cut off the cob because it was roasted corn. It's kind of like Mexican corn, right?
Yep, and there was jack cheese and the chipotle crema, and then they have the queso fresco and tahini in there. So when we were spooning it out of that bowl at the restaurant, there was like strings of cheese coming out with it. This just seems a lot more.
You just got to add more cheese.
And tahini,
okay.
Which we have because of Ryan.
Okay.
All right, so then we went to the Desert Botanical Garden.
Yeah, because we had to walk off another big meal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good pattern. Eat a big meal, go walk outside. I mean, we're in the middle of winter here in Minnesota, so we can't do that.
Right. And so the weather kind of varied while we were there. It was like, okay, one day it was like 75, and then it's been in like the mid-60s. And thankfully Saturday was overcast, so it was a good day for walking. And got to see a lot of the desert flora and cacti and everything like that, that
without going to the desert.
Yeah, without actually going to the desert.
Which was good for me because I haven't been to the desert. So you lived there, you've gone hiking out.
Yeah, you just go and drive out in the desert.
So I got to see things that, unless we would have gone to the desert, I've never seen. And I've never seen cactus that big. I had no idea that they're just massive, some of them.
Right, like 2 stories tall.
Yeah, it was a really neat place to go to, and you could spend half a day there easy. I mean, we tried to go through fairly quickly, and we were only there a couple hours, but if you really took your time and went through all of the areas that are available there, which we didn't do, you would be there for half a day.
Oh, yeah, and we still saw a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. And there's a restaurant and gift shop and stuff there as well. Yep. And then, you knew about Hole in the Rock, so we drove over there to Hole in the Rock.
Oh, which was extremely busy. We took like a photo with the hole in the rock, which is, a big rock or mountain formation. And there are tons of people standing in the hole because you can climb up and climb into it and everything like that. But it's a unique feature out there. It's different than a lot of the other buttes and mountains and different things. It's just weirdly shaped, red. Looks like something you'd see on Mars or, something cool.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. Well, then we did hockey that night, and the Mavericks won again. Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so we went to Trader Joe's, and we picked out some things that were new to us, and so that's what we were going to share today. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you made a list of yours or not, but...
No, but I can see, the movie theater popcorn. That was something I really liked, and then the lemon crackers, I don't even know what they're called.
They're a Meyer lemon cookie thins. Like I said, I don't even know if any of these are new products, but because you were with me, they're things that you picked out that could have been there forever, and I've just not picked up. And
I hate shopping, but since we were on vacation and I knew I was going to get food, I was like, okay, I'll walk along and see what I like.
You also found yourself the Trader Joe's milk chocolate bars.
Yeah, the crispy riced ones I really prefer because they just seem a lot lighter. Mm-hmm. But the milk chocolate and the crispy rice they're very good.
And they come in a 3-pack. Mm-hmm. And then I picked up something that I liked okay, but when you had them, you really, really liked them, which I was very surprised, especially when you hear what they are. Soft baked sunflower butter cookies with roasted sunflower seeds. Okay, that doesn't sound crazy, but they're vegan and gluten-free. They are free of wheat, milk, peanuts, tree nuts, eggs, soy, and sesame. So it's like, what is even in them? But they are what's left to make them good.
I know.
They're really good.
I probably wouldn't have tried it if I hadn't had a few gin and tonics in me that evening.
Well, I'm glad.
More than a few?
I'm glad I picked them out because now we like them, and you just bought them again when you stopped there the other day.
Yep.
Okay, and so then your movie theater buttered popcorn, those come in a red bag, like a bag of chips, but it's movie theater popcorn. Really good. And we were there, and you're like, I want some chips and dip.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we found this caramelized onion dip.
Well, the chips themselves, too, are really good. They, like a Ruffles type chip, but...
They're ridge cut, kettle cooked, sea salt potato chips.
Oh, they're kettle cooked?
And they're see, so here's the thing. Usually kettle cooked means, to me, they're like really hard.
Right.
They're hard to eat. That's just my opinion. These are kettle cooked, but they're not hard like that. Yeah. And they're ridged. Mm-hmm. They were fabulous.
They can scoop up that veganized caramel onion dip.
Yeah, I don't think that's okay.
Okay, so, I went to a Trader Joe's for you, not for me, to get more stuff for us.
Oh, you mean 2 days ago when you're like, I'm going to Trader Joe's?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I looked at that vegan caramelized dip and I'm like, is it vegan?
It was vegan.
Okay, so I couldn't remember.
I don't know.
And so that's why I didn't get it.
I don't remember. I'd have to look at it. I don't know.
Well, because that's what the description said. It was vegan caramelized onion dip.
Yeah, we probably didn't eat anything vegan like that.
Yeah.
Well, except for the sunflower cookies, but... Okay, and then I got this little bag of crispy, peanut butter filled milk chocolate peanuts. So they are not peanuts. They are a shell. It's chocolate made into what looks like a peanut.
Oh.
Yeah, and those...
Because I kept looking in the nut section. I'm like, I can't find those.
Oh, okay. No, so it's a milk chocolate shaped peanut.
And so I looked in the chocolates, too, and I couldn't find it there either.
Yeah, and there's peanut butter in there, but they have little crispy, probably like a Rice Krispie type crispy peanut butter. Mm-hmm. So again, the peanut butter does not have nuts in it. And they were out of those in Edina or whatever, so we didn't get more, but... And then Aussie-style chocolate cream sandwich cookies that are coated in chocolate. Those were new to me. I hadn't seen those before.
I have to try those. I didn't get to try those.
No, because I ate them all. Okay, and the best part that I had to call we were still in Arizona, and I was freaking out thinking that I wasn't going to be able to get this wine.
Something that was unique to Arizona.
Right. That I wasn't going to be able to get this wine when we came back to Minnesota. And it's called Sarah B. And it's a Moscato from Italy. It's a honey wine. So it's a sweet white wine that tastes very much like honey.
And it's bubbly.
Bubbly. So the Moscato, if anybody... So that's why I like wine now, because I can drink Moscato. It has to be a Moscato. It's bubbly. So this is basically a honey wine. And it was, what, $7.99, $6.99 a bottle?
Yeah, I know.
It's screw top.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. And yes, they did have it. And so you did just buy me 4 bottles, which... Right? She buy me 4 bottles. And there's one in the fridge, and I look over there. I set out 2 wine glasses because I thought we could drink some while we were doing this podcast, and I forgot.
Oh, God.
So we'll have to drink it during the Super Bowl because we're recording this on Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm not drinking wine for the Super Bowl. I'm going to go get my Bud Light.
That's not manly enough.
I'm going to get my Bud Light.
Okay. And your movie theater popcorn?
Yeah, Bud Light's my new favorite beer.
Are you going to drink Bud Light and then vegan sunflower seed cookies?
No. I'll have some kettle Trader Joe's chips.
I'm going to make some buffalo chicken sliders.
Oh,
so
excellent.
We're gonna go do that.
It was a great trip.
Maybe we'll talk about Alabama, the Gulf Shores, when we come back, because I might like that. Another place that you've been to and lived, and I've never been there, so this is a first for me.
Yeah, we'll enjoy.
I mean,
you like Southern cooking? I like Southern cooking. Yeah.
I like biscuits and gravy.
Fried chicken.
I like fried chicken. I love pimento cheese dip.
And we're going to be on the search for, the best sweet potato pie.
Okay.
So, I don't know if I'm into, the collard greens or the okra or any of that stuff, but...
We might have to try it.
If it's on my plate, I might try it, because, that's what I do. When I'm away from home, I'll try new things.
You're gonna get your grits.
I am going to get grits.
Get some grits
Real Southern grits.
Yeah.
So, no good Southerner makes instant grits.
What movie's that from again?
My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we're done. Over and out.
Okay.
Thank goodness we walked a lot of miles while we were in Arizona because we enjoyed a lot of food. Hopefully you'll be able to add a few of these to your favorites list if they aren't already. Although the Chuck Box is one of a kind, many of these restaurants have multiple locations like Snooze, Phillies, The Vine, Los Sombrero, and Cartel Roasting Company. So look on their websites, which I've linked in the show notes and on randomsweets.com, along with photos. And just to note about the Chuck Box, they consistently earn an A rating from the Maricopa County Environmental Health Division. Jason and I joked about it, but they are a good restaurant. And just a reminder, in the last few episodes, I asked you to dig out your family's recipe or version of cheesy hash browns or hash brown casserole and send it to me for an episode I'm working on for April. I'm anxiously waiting for you to mail it to me on a handwritten 3x5 recipe or index card, along with your name and then the story or any notes that go with it. Maybe you've received it from a family member, or maybe it's just something you've been making for many, many years. My mailing address is 1614 130th Street, Verdi, Minnesota 56164. And I've also added the address to the show notes so that you can see it there. And if you prefer, you can email the recipe to me, Stacy@randomsweets.com. That's STACI. Thank you for listening today. I hope you subscribe or follow Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens wherever you get your favorite shows so that you get an alert when a new episode is available, and then save it for your next walk on the treadmill. Sweet wishes!